Hey guys, it's PokeFan848, and today I'm going to do a little something different. Now, you may be expecting a Skarner commentary, which would be what I usually do. Usually when the new champ comes out, I would play a couple of games, get the best game, and do a commentary of it. However, this time, I'm going to just do an overview, first impressions of Skarner. Now, Skarner was just the most recently released champion by Riot. He is 6300 IP, and I'm going to quickly discuss whether or not, we'll tell you guys whether or not he's worth it. Short answer, no, he is not worth the 6300 RP. I'm just going to do an overview of Skarner real quick, just in case you haven't seen his moveset or do not know what it is. Skarner is tanky AD, as classified by Riot. He's described as a jungler, a fighter, and a melee, and his strong points are attacking, so because he is a 10k 80, so that's normal. Now his first move is called Crystal Slash, and basically what it does is it lashes out, it does physical damage to all surrounding, it's an AoE to all enemies near Skarner, and if you activate it again within like a 5-second cooldown, it does even more damage, and it's an AoE slow. Skarner's second move is Crystalline Exoskeleton, and it basically is a shield, and as long as the shield is up, you get bonus movement speed and attack speed. It's actually really handy. His third spell is Fracture, and Fracture it basically launches a straight line towards wherever you aim it at, and if it hits an enemy, you can attack the enemy again, it'll consume a mark, which will deal extra damage. I guess the closest thing will be like Lux's passive, or Kali's Q. Skarner's ultimate is probably one of my most favorite ultimates. It's a suppression, and what it does is it's actually a really close range ult, so you need to get up to an enemy, get up to his face, ult, and what it does is it suppresses the enemy, and you can drag him for wherever you want for 1.5 seconds, and that's really nice, mainly because when you're dragging an enemy away, you can use your Q, so you can keep doing damage, consistent damage to the enemy that you're dragging, while pulling him or her away. Now, when Skarner's ultimate is activated, you cannot use W or E. Just a heads up, okay? Now we're gonna discuss Skarner. Skarner is actually Riot has been doing recently a series of releases of the new champions where they've released the champions as underpowered, and then they've been buffing them after the next few patches. Like, for instance, I think Leona was a little underpowered, and same with Monkey King. I'm not sure. I don't remember the patch notes, but they've been releasing champions underpowered just to play it safe, because they don't want to relive another, like Shinzao. When Shinzao was released, he was overpowered as balls, and he was literally impossible to deal with. So I guess Riot does not want to do that again. So they've been releasing champions a little underpowered as of recently. Skarner is 6300 IP, and one of the things that people are frustrated about Riot is recently they've been releasing a string of 6300 IP. Now, Riot has actually stated that they've wanted to lower the prices to make it more fair, because it appears like they've been releasing champions at 6300 IP, and a lot of the players in LoL are hardcore players. They're more of a casual player, so they do not spend all day farming IP, and as a result they're forced to use RP to buy the champions. And this is like a little marketing strategy by Riot just to bring in more money, and people have been really complaining about that. So like I said before, I do not think Skarner is worth the 6300 IP. It's pretty much a waste. So let's talk about Skarner's early game. First of all, I want to clarify on some things. Skarner is not a jungler. Although Freak and the League of Legends client classifies Skarner as a jungler, he is not a level 1 jungler. And there are a lot of reasons why he isn't. Now, first of all, his moves depend too heavily on mana. Meaning, if you do not start at blue, like for example, champions like a Mumu or Fiddle, you're gonna get shut down really early. And I don't even think it's possible to jungle without blue. I haven't tried it yet because it doesn't work for me, but people in the forums have been saying, a lot of popular people who are more well known on the forums than me, they've been saying that even with a fully decked out jungling fully runed out jungling build, they still die at blue, and that's with a normal leash. The only way to succeed with Skarner as a jungle, I think at level 1 would be with an extremely heavy leash or with Ignite. and I've seen Skarners do that. Now, his early games, I played Skarner, I played a few games jungling with him, it did not work out so well. I'm talking more about laning. Now, Skarner's laning is actually really difficult, mainly because Skarner requires a lot of mana. Like I said before, his moves require a lot of mana because they're really spammable, so you have to watch out for the mana. What I usually start out with is a mana crystal. It's just up to me. You can get whatever you want, whatever suits your taste. And basically, the problems with that is you cannot lane, especially against a ranged AD or a support. Skarner, because all you do is deal damage and they heal. So the best lane to lane against Skarner with would be any kind of range. The worst lane would be melee, because Skarner in lane, although I said he does waste a lot of mana, if you're going against two melee that can't harass as well, kind of like Skarner, you're going to be doing a lot of harass. And one of Skarner's actually good things is he can harass really well with his Q, because his Q does provide a slow. Early game, let's see, his auto attack is pretty nice, so you can actually last hit really well. Also, his farming is really nice. His Q is an AoE damage, so it does physical damage to anywhere around you, and his W is also a shield and attack speed boost. That's fine. Skarner is really nice for lasting. Mid game, Skarner mid game is, you can start jungling mid game with Skarner if you want, although I prefer to stay in lane because it's much easier to farm and you can support your team a little better. I actually play with Ignite and Exhaust. This is up to me. You guys might like something like Exhaust or Ghost or Exhaust or Flash. It's up to you. And the items I usually build is Trinity Force. Well, no, I get Mana Crystal, Boots, Sheen, and then for level 2 boots, I choose Berserker's Greaves or Merc Treads based on their team comp. So their team comp has a lot of CC. You want to get Merc Treads. If not, then you just get Berserker's Greaves. But then after that, I go into my Phage, my Zeal, and my Trinity Force. And then this is where it's a little shaky because I haven't played that many games with Skarner. I played a couple, but it's not enough for me to decide on an actual build that works. But one of the things I want to emphasize is you want to get attack speed. So as Freak said in his Champion Spotlight, you could get Hextech Dumbblade, or you can get something more like a Wit's End, depending on if the team is magic heavy or some kind of Madrid's Blood Razors. Now, you want to get something with attack speed. So, like I said, you want something with attack speed that's not Trinity Force or Berserker's Greaves. Wit's End, Madrid, yeah, what I said before, sorry about repeating this, but you want to get that. And you want to get some kind of lifesteal or some kind of Spell Vamp. Hextech Dumbblade would work at that too. Mid game is where Skarner shines the most. That's where he does the most damage. Because at this point, the tanky champions, they haven't had time to get their armor or magic res unless they've been fed, of course. Late, you're gonna be able to do a lot of damage, and it's really fun playing with Skarner because his ult, and he's a big guy to watch out for, especially when he grabs you. And late game, let's see. Skarner's late game, it's actually, believe it or not, actually no, it's believable because he's kind of underpowered. If you're playing against a tanky team, late game, do not let it carry out to late game, mainly because late game, they're going to get their magic res and get some armor and they're going to shut down your Skarner. If you've been building Skarner hybrid for example, let's say you built Berserker's Greaves, Trinity Force, Wit's End, Hextech Gunblade, which is what I built, you're going to lose out on a lot of damage late game. If you want to have more sustainable late game, you want to go for something like trade mainly towards attack damage. And although you're going to destroy squishy champions like Ashe are going to be destroyed by you, but you got to watch out because his late game is actually not as strong as I would have hoped. Overall, Skarner is a fun champion, but he's a little underpowered. That's why he's not worth his 60 to 100 IP. I suggest that you guys would wait until maybe when he's free or maybe when he's buffed before you buy him. For now, I'd suggest not wasting any IP mainly because it's not worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was more of a rant. This wasn't scripted or anything, like I've said before. Hopefully this isn't, you guys don't think this is kind of like super high ELO professional talking. And PokeFan848 signing out.